Hey everybody, what's going on? My name is Austin. Today I'll be going over how to use OBS to record your favorite PC games as well as your screen for free on PC. So throughout the video I'll be showing you how to get everything going with your settings, your sources, and actual recording. I'll be showing you some of my favorite tips throughout the video. So first of all, let's just get started and download OBS. So you can get it from the obsproject.com. It's totally free to use. If you are paying for it and you're getting scammed, it's a naturally free program. There's no need to get a cracked version or something kind of suspect like that. Get it from the website. Here's a Windows installer. There is a Mac and Linux installer as well. However, keep in mind that this video will not work. This tutorial will not be the same for Mac and Linux. Mac and Linux versions of OBS do behave differently, and there are different caveats there, especially in regards to recording audio. So I will not be touching that today. But we will be launching up OBS Studio right now. And when you first load it up, you should have a window that looks kind of like this. You have a black screen generally, no scenes, no sources, and we can just kind of jump right in. So first things first is you want to go and set up our settings. Go to the File tab at the top, go to Settings in the drop down, and we're going to be brought to the general screen here. In this tab, there isn't much to really change. We're not going to be adjusting too much. Language is one option. If you do not speak English, by default it should be English, but you can always adjust that as needed. And then theme as well, I have it set to dark by default because system looks even whiter than me, and it kind of, blurs my eyes. It's a bit too bright for me, so I'll go dark in default. If you do make any changes, be sure to hit apply in the bottom right corner. So moving on, we're going to skip the stream tab. We're going to be doing streaming tutorials later on in the near future, so skip this for now. But go straight to the output tab on the left. At the top, you're going to have an output mode. Set that to advanced. Simple is too simple for us. We want to do advanced today. And then go to the recording tab at the top. Now, here's where we can actually get started creating some pretty good video profiles to start recording with. So save this on standard. We don't need to do this any weird FFmpeg stuff like that. Just leave it on standard. Recording path, this is where you want to record your videos to. I recommend setting this to a documents folder or a folder that's directly on a secondary hard drive, something along those lines. I do not recommend recording to a destination that is backed up to OneDrive. Do not record to allocations backed up to Dropbox or Google Cloud services. Because if you do, you're going to kill your internet bandwidth because you're going to be streaming to a location and it's going to be sending half-finished videos to the actual server, and you're going to kill your computer because it's going to be trying to process that at the same time, and you'll fill up your OneDrive space within a few minutes because when you're recording huge files like this, video files, we're talking 10 to 20 gigs for a video. These are very, very large video files. So you're going to use up your entire subscription in a few minutes, and you might actually get charged for it. So don't record to a OneDrive folder. Moving on to recording format, I like to use MP4. It's really widely used and really, well documented and supported by a variety of different editing programs. Down below we have audio tracks. Audio tracks is something that's super incredibly unique and that OBS offers. That's a super incredible, awesome functionality. For now, we're not going to be touching it too much. I like to look at it as if selecting audio tracks represents the number of audio sources you're recording from. So for me, I have my computer or game audio as one audio track, and then I have my microphone that I'm talking to as my second audio track. So I'm going to use two audio tracks for this. For encoder, this kind of depends on what your computer is. Since I have an NVIDIA graphics card, I'm going to have an NVIDIA option for an encoder. If you have a Radeon card, you might have a Radeon option. Everyone should have the 264 and the stream encoder. I recommend experimenting with these to see which one works best for you. I know everyone should have the 264, so I'm going to use the 264 encoder for this video. If you don't have the 264 encoder, you should update OBS. You want to make sure you have the latest version. So I'll be using 264 today. And for rate control, now for best quality, you have to record in constant bitrate. There's several different options here. CBR stands for constant bitrate. VBR is another really popular option. I dislike it because you can see, it stands for variable bitrate, VBR, and you can see the quality of a video fluctuate throughout a video because the amount of bits it's recording changes throughout the video to help reduce and minimize file size. That's good if your computer's trash and you want to, save on your file size, but the downfall is that you're going to have periods of really, really good quality and then drop to poor quality and then back up to good quality. And if you're watching it as a viewer, you're going to think you're buffering or something. It just doesn't look right. So I really recommend using constant bitrate. Additionally, here below, we have a number indicating the kilobits per second. The more kilobits per second, the higher the quality. So if you're using VBR, it might be 10,000, then maybe 5,000, maybe 10,000, maybe 7,000, and that fluctuations are going to impact the video. It's going to make it look like trash. So with constant bitrate, if you want to have really, really high quality, you can adjust for the 5,000 to like 20,000. Or maybe if you're having issues, maybe go down to 2,000. Basically, this is indicative of the amount of quality you want to record per second. I like to balance it out. Keep pushing the kilobits per second until your game starts to have issues. If you want to play at 60 frames, keep increasing the bitrate recording of your video up until you're at that 60 frames mark, so you can maximize the quality of your video. So I like to do, I'm just gonna do 5,000 for now because I'm recording a tutorial and I'm gonna be recording in a few minutes. That's gonna be laggy as hell. So I'm gonna be using 5,000 kilobits per second just for me. But of course, this is something that is entirely dependent on the performance of your computer. So feel free to explore and experiment and see what works best for your rig. Moving down to CPU usage preset. If you have a very slow and old computer, use anything from faster or above. If you have kind of a newer computer, feel free to use slow or below. Fast CPU, you want to use slow CPU usage preset and vice versa. Basically, this is indicates how much CPU usage you want to use, and like if you have a really good computer, then maybe you might want to. Well, it kind of depends on your build, but like if you have a really good processor, you want to have it on very slow generally, or on slower. But of course, this is something else that you have to experiment with on your end to see what works best for you. So that's kind of up to you and your computer. I just leave it on very fast generally. I don't mess with the setting too much, I'll be very frank. Moving on to the, this is the recording tab done. We're gonna go into the audio tab at the top, not on the left, on the top. And then you can see all the different tracks here. This doesn't really matter too much. I'm gonna leave all the bit rates on 160. You can go higher if you really like, but I'm not going to bother. Now on the audio tab on the left, I'm gonna start adjusting a few more settings here. So our sample rate by default is 44.1. You can update that to 48, because why not? Who doesn't love higher quality? Quick little update here is you have channels below. You get mono to stereo all the way up from 2.1 to 7.1. This is very important. You know, 7.1 audio is like all the craze. Like you have the 7 speakers, and you have the 1 bass, and it's great, and you can, you know, hear your footsteps and stuff. That's awesome. The issue is that if you're recording 7.1 audio and your game is not outputting 7.1 audio, you are completely wasting your time. Only record in 7.1 audio if you know for a fact your game is outputting 7.1 audio. And of course, you might do some research there to see what games you're playing or whatever it may be, whatever program you're using to output 7.1. That's kind of on your plate. You got to figure that out for yourself. For me, I just kind of play really simple games. I like to record stereo, but that's kind of up to you. You get to choose that. For global audio devices, here's where you can set up all the different things you want to record from. So we set up audio tracks earlier. We're going to be recording 2 today. Here's my desktop audio. My headset earphone, which is my Astro Mix Amp Pro, which is my amp that I have attached to my Apple earbuds right now. If you don't know what your default setting is or what your default output is, you can just hit the Windows key, then go to sound settings. And then as you can see here, my default output device is my headset earphone Astro Mix Amp Pro. Then if I go down to my default input device, it's my microphone, my Yeti stereo microphone, which is right here. You just can't really see it very well right now. So as you can see for desktop audio, I selected Astro Mix Amp. For mic auxiliary, I chose Yeti stereo microphone, but of course you could add different things if you're outputting to multiple things. But for me, I'm not, so I'm gonna leave the rest on disabled. Moving on to video, it's super important that you record with identical resolution dimensions so you can fix stretching. It's really important that when you go to these settings here, these 2 resolutions at the top, the base canvas resolution and the output scale resolution, have to match your game you're playing at. So for example, I'm going to go to my settings again. I'm going to go to the display settings. If you don't know how to get there, just hit the Windows key and hit display, and then hit enter. Then you should be brought to this display page here. If you want to check your resolution, you can see what you're viewing at, 1920 by 1080p. Okay. You want to make sure that this display resolution matches the base canvas resolution as well as the output scale resolution. Here is why. First of all, if the aspect ratios are wrong, you're going to get stretching. If you're playing in like 4:3 and trying to record in 16:9, it's going to stretch really weird. It's going to be pixelated as heck, and it's going to look like trash. So you don't want to stretch it if you can avoid it, obviously. Additionally, too, if you want to try to scale while you are recording, you are going to lose a lot of performance from your computer because it's very intensive to try to re-record something in a smaller resolution. or larger. Well, larger is a joke. Never try to scale up something because it's going to look like trash. If you want to scale down something, I can kind of understand the use case. But do it in an editing software afterwards. Don't do it live. It's going to cost you performance. So regardless, I like to make sure that these two resolutions, the scaled and canvas resolution, match my display setting resolution. If this is the resolution I'm playing my game at. If I'm playing my game full screen, it's going to be in 1080p, for example. All right, additionally, a downscale filter. If you are downscaling stuff, you can choose. I like to use Lanxos because in the rare occasion I might ever require to, I'm going to use the sharpest one. I don't know. For common FPS values, these are like the kind of common frames per second, I guess, formats that are used commonly throughout the world. I'm going to use 30 for this, but of course you can go 60. And if you want to go above that, you can go to integer FPS value and go 120. I think that's the highest they do. I don't think you can even go above that. Yeah, I can't do 121, but I can do 120. So keep that in mind. I'm just getting, like I said, I'll be doing 30 today because I'm going to be recording, and that's kind of laggy. So I want to keep it nice and simple for myself today. Now, onto hotkeys. Hotkeys are great if you want to press a button on your keyboard to start recording. Of course, OBS has buttons on the right that say start recording and stuff. But if you want to use a hotkey, you have to kind of assign it here. So to start recording, I like to use F10, or you can use F1, or you can use maybe F5, whatever. I like to use F10. F11 is full screen in some games, so I don't like to use that one. But here's a fun little tip here that if your F1 to F12 hotkeys don't work, you need to hold the function key. I did this tutorial years ago on OBS, and a lot of laptop users were like, oh my god, it doesn't work. It's like, well, yeah, if you want to use F1 to F12 as a hotkey, you have to hold the function key and then the F10 key to start recording. Because F10 on laptops is like skip track or like increase audio or like something useless like that. If you want to actually use the F hotkeys on a laptop, hit function and then F10 if you want to start recording. So I'll be using F10 today because it's kind of standard. I'm moving on as well. So if you want to fix a laggy computer, try adjusting your process priority. So here at the top, under the general tab, you can see something called process priority. Generally your computer will have a million different little mini small processes going on in the background when you're doing anything. It's like File Explorer and like just your operating system and like other things like that. If you have like Microsoft Word open, that's a process. What you want to do is when you're recording, if you have a really bad computer, you want to kind of raise the importance of OBS. And here's where you can do it, where you can actually go and change this from a normal to above normal or to high. This will prioritize OBS processing power from your CPU and GPU and other components in your RAM and stuff to make sure that it gets the best quality it can. So if you are having issues, this is a really good option to kind of look into. I used to do this years and years and years ago when my computer was really trash. So keep that in mind. I'll leave it on normal for today because my computer is solid nowadays, but if you're having issues, give that a shot. Additionally, for video, I don't really mess with this too much. The one thing I will recommend you change though is change your color range from partial to full because you want to get that extra depth of quality. I'm kind of done here adjusting settings, so I'm going to hit apply. And now we're good to go. So settings are done. We can finally kind of get into some more of the fun stuff and we can start adjusting our settings or sources for our video. So for today, I'm going to be using Minecraft, unfortunately, simply because it's a super easy game to like work with and it's windowed and it's super just simple to use. So basically we're going to be using Minecraft today. Let's do it. So first of all, let's make a brand new scene in the bottom left corner here. And we're going to call this scene, I don't know, demo scene. And then we're going to have this scene selected. Now we're going to add a source. I'm going to call, and you can see several different sources to choose from. Like you can do an audio input or output, display capture, game capture, video capture device if you have like a PVR or an Elgato or something kind of like that. Window capture, if you want to play like a windowed like flash game, you can do window capture as well. But remember, keep in mind with window capture, make sure your resolutions match. It can be kind of challenging with a window, but make sure it does. Anyways, we're going to be doing game capture today. I'm just going to create new game capture, hit OK. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to capture a window, a specific window, and I'm going to target Minecraft. As you can see, it's going to populate in the preview in a few seconds. Here we go. Here's Minecraft. And if I were to go over the Minecraft window, you can see my mouse cursor moving, and you can see my highlighting stuff. I'm going to turn off the cursor because it's a game. I don't want people to see that stuff. And I'm going to hit OK because it's working so far. Now here's a small little thing that is worth noting. As you can tell, my Minecraft window is only filling like less than a half or around a quarter of the actual canvas. This is because my Minecraft is currently in a window display. This Minecraft only approximately covers this amount of the screen. So notice how this Minecraft covers like literally 1/4 of this whole screen. Similarly, this Minecraft in the preview window covers 1/4 of the whole screen. That is because it is directly representative of how big the Minecraft window is. If I increase the Minecraft window a bit, it'll actually adjust. So if I were to play Minecraft full screen, or just bigger, you can see it adjusts in my OBS window, which is super cool. Here is a little really important caveat, is that you should never ever be in a situation in which you are stretching this to fit the screen. If you're stretching this to fit the screen, that means your video resolution settings are broken. If you're stretching to make this fit, like notice how like this doesn't fit either, like there's weird stretching and stuff going on. This means that there's something horrifically wrong with your video settings and you have to adjust that. Now, I want to record this game full screen, but however, I cannot record a full screen because the current video recording software I'm using right now don't allow me to record in full screen. So what I'm going to do just for the purpose of this video is I'm going to actually stretch this to fill the full screen. But keep in mind that under no circumstances, if you're stretching your video, you're doing it wrong. Under no circumstances should you ever actually stretch your video to fit. So anyways, that's my little, get off my soapbox for today. But that's just a super important point that everyone should know when they're trying to record their favorite games. Moving on, we're gonna go into audio tracks now. So as you can see, we have the audio mixer right next to the sources. And we're gonna hit the little gear icon to go investigate this stuff and go to advanced audio properties. As you can see, I have 2 different audio tracks. And this gives me the ability to record my audio to separate audio tracks so I can get a super great, awesome, superior editing experience. Because I do this, I can, in post-production, increase my microphone to be louder or quieter independently of my game volume. So I can turn down my gain, increase my voice, and at different sections throughout the video, potentially decrease my voice and increase the volume. If it's a super intense moment, I'm listening for footsteps, I want to decrease my voice and increase the gain volume so people can hear what I'm actually hearing myself. So there's a huge benefit to doing this. Of course, if your editing program doesn't support multiple audio tracks, this is out of the question for you. Additionally, if you record from OBS and upload straight to YouTube without editing, this is also not a good option. If you, when you're recording to YouTube, it will only take one audio track. It'll take the top audio track. If you were to upload a video with 2 audio tracks to YouTube, it will only acknowledge the uppermost track. It will not acknowledge the bottom one. Windows Media Player is the exact same. So, if you want to record your audio and your mic audio and your desktop audio, for example, in the same track, select both of these devices to output to track 1. If you want to independently increase and decrease audio of your game and your microphone, set them separately so desktop's on track 1 and mic's on track 2. That's how you differentiate it. And if you want to record everything to the same track, you can increase and decrease your volume in the audio mixer, and you can experiment around a bit and see what works for you. For me, I don't even acknowledge the audio mixer whatsoever, because I know for a fact I'll just change it in post later. So I'm going to set my desktop audio to track 1 and set my microphone and aux to track 2. All right, so we're going to separate tracks. My game is loaded. Game capture window is fine. Now it's time to finally record. All right, so we're going to load up Minecraft right now, and we're going to go into a single player game. Let's increase this size a bit. Okay. And as you can see, this got totally toasted, so I'm going to adjust this. Like I said, never ever stretch your content. You're doing it wrong if you are. Let's just do that. Cool. So I got Minecraft loaded now, and I'm going to go into single player. I'm going to load up this random world. And we're going to give this a shot here. So we set our recording hotkey to F10, so we're going to press that in a second. So I'm in my game, and I'm going to hit the F10 key in 3, 2, 1. I'm now recording my game. I can walk around. I can, break a block. And now I've recorded some gameplay. I'm now done. I'm going to hit F10 in 3, 2, 1. Now recorded some gameplay. So I'm going to back out now. And I'm going to minimize this to the Windows bar at the bottom. and I'm going to open up Sony Vegas, which is my editing program of choice. So open this up quick. I'm going to drag in this Windows Media Player file, and you can see that it has multiple tracks. So I'm going to minimize this. This is a different video I was shooting earlier, so I'm going to go File, New. And I'm going to drag in this file. You're going to see it's going to occupy 3 tracks. So you're going to have video at the top. You're going to have game audio in red and then microphone audio in blue. So now I'll let you guys hear it for yourself. I'm now recording my game. I can walk around. I can, break a block. And now I've recorded some gameplay. I'm now done. I'm going to hit F10 in 3, 2, 1. And there's our gameplay. Recorded beautifully in 2 separate tracks. Now, like I said, of course, if you don't want to do 2 separate tracks, if you don't want to edit your content, you can output to the same track as I demonstrated earlier by simply going to Advanced Audio Properties and outputting them both to track 1. That's definitely an option for you. But I like doing them both to track 2. Then you get this lovely sort of effect where I can go into Vegas and I can I can simply increase and decrease volume completely, and I can turn down my voice to like nothing. So I can do cool, fun things like that. So that's the benefit to using multiple audio tracks. That's how I like to use OBS. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If it did, please drop a like rating down below. It means the absolute world to me, and I really, really appreciate it. Comments and questions, of course, leave down below. I'll do my best to answer it. If you are having black screen issues, I have a huge tutorial. It's like 20 minutes long that covers the 10 most common issues with OBS. So go check that out as well. Subscribe for more creator-centric content like this, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.